Realer than real. Realer than real.
Oh my. What is going on? I swear this episode will be more planned and less chaotic than the last. The camera is clean. The light is charged. I'm awake. I'm sitting up. I have things to say. I'm pulling up my notes actually right now so I don't forget. This is going to be a full, well thought out, or at least as well thought out as something I put together can be, podcast. You guys, welcome back. It's so lovely to see you again. I'm happy to see you. Hi there, neighbor. Very a la Mr. Rogers right now, but hi there, neighbor. I'm happy you're here, and I'm happy to be here today and every day. Hallelujah. My uncle was listening to my podcast, and he told me that he got an hour in, and I didn't do an intro. And I could have swore I did one last week, but honestly, last week's episode was such a fever dream that I could have done anything, or I could have not done something, and I would have believed it. So, here's the intro, everyone. He, she's, gays, and theys. Welcome or welcome back to the Realer Than Real podcast. I am your host and your, for once, well-rested best friend, Shamira. Sometimes in this world we keep things real. We keep things very real, but on this podcast right here, we keep things realer than real. Hell yeah, brother. It's nice to see you guys. I'm happy to be back here today. I'm saying this as if, like, I'm in a studio, but I do feel like, I feel like by day, this is my apartment that I clean, I cook in, I work and whatnot, but I feel like when I turn on the orange lights, when I have the neon rope lights on, and I'm sitting right here in this chair with this camera in front of me, it does kind of feel like my apartment transforms into a studio. And it's just really fun. It's a nice little way to spice it up. Enough of me being fig deep. You guys, not to be, well, here, should I start with like some good news, some cool news, I guess? So I'm filming this right now on April 22nd. That's a Monday. When I post this, it'll be posted on the 25th. And that's the last Thursday of April, which means that I would have been doing this podcast for about 4 months now, which is crazy. 4 months, a weekly podcast on top of having a YouTube channel, on top of creating content on TikTok. Now, whether or not I've been consistent on all those is another story, but I'm really proud of myself. It's a venture that it's another, content creation venture that I've dabbled into that I wasn't really sure. It's one of those things where people have told me for a long time, oh, you should start one. And for anyone who creates content, you know that the amount of people telling you should do something versus the amount of people that will consistently listen to it and support you, those numbers are vastly different. And, no shade to anybody, no shade, no tea to anybody, but it is just kind of, it is this weird, like, reality you have to face when you create content, any type of medium, that people will sing, not so much praises, but people will sing requests of, you should do this, you should do that, or has anyone ever told you should do this, or I could see you doing this, versus the actual, like, support that comes from it. But we all have our own lives, and I totally respect that. But yeah, I've been doing this, and my podcast, I mean, like, right now, I do feel like I'm doing, I'm just being realer than real with you guys. I feel like I'm doing pretty well on TikTok, as well as what I define as doing well, for me being such a small creator who obviously, like, I cannot do this full time. I'm not quite at that level yet, not there yet to where I can quit my day job and be able to do this full time and be able to put my all into it. But for someone who does have to work a full-time job and has, life going on around them, I hang out with my family, I hang out with my boyfriend, I see my friends, I sometimes just like to rot. Like, for what it's worth, for what I've been able to put into it, I am very happy with what I'm getting out of it. Like I was just saying, my TikTok has been like, I've been seeing like consistent support and consistent growth on there. The the podcast by far to me, I don't, because at least with my TikTok and my YouTube, I've had them for like so long now, and I've had like certain viral moments on there to where I like don't know anymore. That sounds so like pompous, but like because I've had like such viral moments and I've had these jumps of like virality and people follow you for these exact moments, I sometimes forget what like a natural growth looks like. And so when I first started this podcast, I remember once I was complaining to one of my friends because I looked on my analytics for Spotify, like for the podcast, and it said it had like, I'll make up a number. Let's say it said it had like 6,000 impressions. And I was like, okay, that's kind of sickening. I love that for me. And then I went on the episode that was most recent that I posted at the time. And I think it said it only had 2 plays. And I was like getting so in my head about it because I'm just like, oh, like it's not making sense. And, I should be seeing more growth and X, Y, and Z. But like, I'm having my moments, and I'm having these moments of no, I meant to say steady and slow. Who knew that the combination of steady and slow would sound like slutty? Oh my gosh. I'm having these moments of steady and slow growth that show so much more of a like genuine interest in what I'm saying. Like people are more interested in what I'm saying versus just like me posting these like, which I have done. Obviously, that's what you gotta do. You gotta play the game. You gotta make that money. Don't let it make you. But instead of like just posting the most controversial thing from my podcast and using that to stir up controversy, or like even what I've never done is this. I've seen people who post clips of their podcast where like they'll literally post things like out of order to make it seem like they're saying one thing, like to get people in a tizzy. That is literally like engagement farming. Not me, girl. That can never be me, girl. But yeah, I'm talking about that to say that I'm just happy with what I've done here, and I'm excited to keep it going. I think honestly, because this will be my 12th episode, I feel like, and I think I remember mentioning this to you guys in one episode of the podcast so far, but on Spotify when you upload it, it'll ask like which season and which episode of like what you're uploading it, like what season and episode are you on with what you're uploading. And I feel like episode 12 is like a good like season finale, which might even give me time to take a little break, but I don't think I'll take a break. I got to keep my foot on the gas, baby. But we can say that this will be like, I feel like this is a good way to wrap up season 1, quote unquote, of the Realer Than Real podcast. Wow, season 1. But yeah, just want to say thank you all so much for watching and supporting. Even if you can't watch every episode, even if you can't, leave a comment or interact with, even if you can only watch the reels on the reels that I post on Instagram or TikTok, and any way you support it, I've been hella grateful for it. And I'm so happy that you are sticking around. Hopefully in season 2, we'll see, I was going to say more guests, but we'll see guests in general. That's the goal. I need to buy the tech for it. If you would like to support me in my technology endeavors, not to sound like I'm begging for money, but my Cash App is, no, I'm joking. But I will link, if you in any way want to support me, financially, monetarily, with that green, with that hard cash money, baby, I will leave my, I will leave some ways that you can support me if that is your business. But if not, you just hanging out with me for an hour or so every Thursday or whenever you can listen is good enough for me, friend. All right. We got that out the way. No, I'm joking. But enough with the mushy, because I'm going to complain now. So I'm 27, right, you guys? I'm 27. I feel old in so many ways. I feel it sometimes when I wake up, and I feel it when I take a big stretch and you can hear different parts of my body crack. I feel it when I get up too fast and I feel my hip pop. I feel it when I'm out and I might see a group of kids doing something, and in my head I'm like, oh, why are kids out? Go away. I feel old so many times, but nothing has made me feel more old recently than having to deal with my TV. Why is it so hard to watch TV nowadays? I'm not saying about to go on to Hulu or Netflix or Max or what else do we have nowadays? Paramount Plus. That is not difficult. You make an account, you sign up, you pay an amount of money, which in 3 months will go up, and then another 3 months will go up, and then Netflix will tell you that, oh, sorry, you can't share your account anymore with people because we're monopolizing the entire market of streaming. Netflix, we have beef. Actually, side note. I was watching an episode of Black Mirror, and they did like this episode about like, using AI and whatnot in Hollywood. Very like meta episode. But one thing that pissed me off the most is that like they refer to themselves as Streamberry. And they like, it was one of those things where in the show, Streamberry was like the bad guys, the enemy of it. But I was just like, you are so full of yourself because you know how much we already fucking can't stand you. Netflix probably has like 2 or 3, at least for me. I can't speak for all y'all because I know some of y'all will live and die by Netflix. For me personally, I probably use Hulu the most. And I feel like I don't even use it that much. But Netflix, y'all only have 2 or 3 good shows. And then for y'all to be like, we're going to play the bad guys in this episode and we're going to call ourselves Streamberry. Because we're just so like fun and cunty like that. Girl, go to hell. Anyway. But, what was I saying? Yeah, you make an account, you pay an amount of money, you pay a certain amount of money a month, and you just watch the shows that you want to watch on there. That's not difficult to me. But why is it that the few times of the year when I want to watch something live, I feel like I have to jump through hoops? Case in point, right? As you all know from the last episode, I said I gotten back into watching wrestling. So wrestling comes on twice a week. 3, I guess maybe actually 4 times a week. But like we went like because they have Monday Night Raw, which comes on Mondays, Friday Night SmackDown comes on Fridays. And then I don't actually know if NXT like when it airs or what it airs on. So I'm just really counting the 2 things, right? Friday Night SmackDown comes on Fox. I believe because I have Paramount Plus, I might be able to watch Fox. I genuinely couldn't tell you, and this is my problem. But Monday Night Raw comes on USA. So, going backwards, the Monday after WrestleMania, or the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania is like a big deal, right? So I wanted to watch it. What I thought I could do, first of all, it's just, there's too many things, right? So I have Xfinity, right? So I have a little cable box. So I'm like, okay. I also have like an Amazon TV. So I'm like, okay. And I keep gesturing towards the camera because it's my TV and my camera is literally right in front of my TV stand. In case you're wondering if you're watching this and you're like, why does she keep pointing towards me? It's making me uncomfortable. So I'm like, okay, I will just use the cable remote to like go on TV through cable and watch it on there. And I'm looking at all these channels and I'm like, why are only like 3 of these real channels? Like I saw, I don't know, we'll say like Food Network was real, maybe HGTV, and let's say TLC. And all of these other channels are like made up Xfinity channels, like action movie channel and romantic comedy channel. And I'm like, these aren't real, like where are the real channels? So I'm like, okay, this is too much for me. So then I go back to like the Amazon version of my television. I even just feel old saying television, but I go back to the Amazon version of my television. I'm like, okay, I know that because every fucking network, it makes me so mad. Every network has a streaming service now, which I think is just the most asinine thing about where we are with streaming. Why does every single network have something to like, what's going on? Like, and it is a reflection of the time. I totally get it. Like, that's the only way to keep up with streaming is to like create a situation where, you know, you can get your little piece of the pie. It's getting to be too much though. So I go to my TV, I download the USA app, and I know that with certain network apps, you have to like log in with your TV credentials. I'm paying my Xfinity bill every month for Wi-Fi and whatever the box is for, honestly. So I download the USA app, I go to log in with my credentials, and it says, this is not a part of your plan. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. If you know where that reference is from, you're goated. But I'm just like, I don't know how to watch TV anymore. It's so confusing. So then eventually to end up watching Raw, I had to download Fubo TV. Now you tell me what that is, because I don't know what it is. I had to download Fubo TV, make like a little, do a little account. They charge like $89 a month. I'm just using it for one night though. Even though I would like to watch Monday Night, I would like the option to watch Monday Night Raw. Actually, you know what? Let's just see if it's working right now. Because I called Xfinity today and I was like, hey, I'm having issues with this thing. Can you help me? And they said I had to download another app. So I downloaded Xfinity Stream. So let's just see if this works now. It's just like, it's just app upon app upon app. There's a really funny episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where one of the characters, Dennis, he like tries to take a mental health day, but the entire day is just, it's being inconvenienced because he, like, all these places that he goes to, it's like he goes to his coffee shop and they make him download an app to pay and they only have Apple Pay and it's just so complicated. And I'm supposed to be able to watch it live, but I don't know if I can. Oh my God. I'm gonna fucking scream right now. Okay, I'm gonna go to live TV. We're gonna go to all channels. Let me just read all the channels that are on here. QVC, HSN, HSN2, and then HSN again. Be a perfect place to put USA. QVC again. NBC News Now. Sky News. Dateline 24/7. Today all day. What is that? AccuWeather. Circle Country. See, Circle Country is not a real channel. Where are these made-up ass channels coming from? Zumo Movies, Zumo Action, Zumo Her Movies. I'm turning the TV off. I cannot do this anymore. I'm turning it off. Oh my gosh. So y'all see my point of contention. And I'll tell you right now, that list, I don't know. That list maybe had about 30 more channels. I'm telling you right now, I went through it earlier. None of them are USA. I do not know where to watch USA. And the problem is that you have to get certain cable providers that are like local to your area. So I'm pretty much stuck with Xfinity. And y'all been doing great with the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi's been great. Xfinity, if you're watching, I know you are. Big fan. Well, moderate fan. I don't understand how I'm supposed to watch stuff. Like, and I'm so sick of, like, I get something. Wait, because you know what actually pisses me off? The other day, I wanted to watch The Outsiders. One of my favorite movies, definitely a comfort film for me. I have not seen it in so long, and I wanted to watch it. And I wanted to not watch it illegally. Because I'll tell you this right now. You know what? I don't want to confess to any crimes because I remember in the early 2000s when you would see that ad in the movie theater or on a DVD and it would be like, you wouldn't steal from a grandmother, so you shouldn't pirate movies or whatever the case it was. But honestly, you don't know me and maybe I would steal from someone's grandmother. But I'll tell you what I would do. I absolutely pirate a movie if I can't find it anywhere. So I Google, where can I watch The Outsiders? I see it says Amazon Prime. I go to Amazon Prime. Baldhead Jeffrey Bezos, come to the front. Because why the fuck am I paying for Amazon Prime, but when I go to watch The Outsiders, I have to either rent or buy the movie? Somebody please explain that to me. Because maybe the cable thing is just like, there's something that I'm not understanding. I've never had to like pay for TV and internet until I had to move out on my own. And for those of you who don't know the lore, just know that I had to move out on my own unexpectedly. So there's something that I just wasn't able to prepare myself for, and that's fine. I can learn. I probably just need to like sit down, actually look through Xfinity's website and figure it out. But why in the motherfuck am I paying for Amazon Prime, and then if I want to watch specific movies, I then have to rent or buy them? Like, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was getting jumped. I didn't know that I was being held at knife point by Jeffrey Bezos being like, give me all of your money. Not only are you going to use your money on my app to get your products in 2 days, maybe because Amazon Prime really don't be Amazon Priming like that anymore. And then, actually, side note, I want to complain about Amazon for a second. Where I live, there's not like a safe place where I can get my packages delivered where they will not be exposed to the general public. I had to learn that the hard way. Even though the Amazon drivers, there literally are call codes on the door, and if you call the code for whatever person you're delivering a package for, they can buzz you in. But sometimes they don't do that. And I'm not going to talk about any Amazon drivers right now because I respect every job and profession. But some of y'all, I'm going to wring you by your neck next time I see you. I'm joking. But, so I get my stuff delivered to an Amazon locker. I live near a few, so it's fine. But why can't certain products be delivered to a locker and you won't tell me why? I don't understand that. Like, I'll have like let's say I have like shoes, I got like a few shirts, maybe some cleaning products, and maybe like, I don't know, a skincare product. And everything except for this one skincare product can't be delivered to this locker. So now I have to get it delivered to another locker. And why aren't Amazon lockers 24 hours? Actually, you know what? I'll give y'all that because you have to find people to staff in 24 hours. Like, I totally get it. Kind of, maybe. But also, I kind of feel like if you just make an Amazon locker place, right? And in order to get into the space, like, first of all, give it plexiglass so nobody can break in. But even then, you know what? It don't matter. It don't matter. I'm not giving away my good business ideas. I'm going to come up with a rival shopping app. It's going to be called a Glamazon. And I'm going to be better than you, Jeffrey Bezos. But back to cable. It's just all so confusing, you guys. It's app upon app. It's have Hulu, or you can pay an extra $80 a month to have Hulu Live Sports. And I just, it's so confusing. But I don't think we're going to revert back to cable TV just yet. Because I still feel like there's not hope, but there's just some untapped potential with streaming networks that certain networks, like, you know, whether it's like TV networks or maybe someone's going to create another streaming service, who knows. I still feel like there's some depths there that haven't been discovered. But I just need someone to simplify it. Like, it makes me feel so, and maybe it's not an old thing. Maybe I just like to I think anytime I feel confused about something modern, I'm like, oh, I'm so old. But like, in reality, it is confusing. Like, I don't think I'm being dumb about it. I genuinely do think it is so confusing. It's so hard to figure out where all these things are. Why do I have to pay for a service and then pay extra for like this add-on? Like, and the prices keep going up with stuff like Netflix. I don't understand what you're raising the prices for. The quality of shows have not gotten better on there. What are you raising the price for? I don't understand. And everyone wants to do this non-sharing thing. I think that is so asinine. That might be the most asinine thing ever. Netflix, you are too damn expensive for everyone in the household to have their own one. Like, let's be honest. It's not even so much the like, it's not me attaching the confusion to me feeling old. It is just the way that I feel so irrationally angry. Not that I think that old people are irrationally angry, but like, when you have this anger that you can't put anywhere over something that you have no control over, it makes me feel like, it makes me want to do one of these, like just shaking my fist to the void, it angers me. TV is hard, you guys. TV is hard. And they wonder why people want to watch everything on YouTube or TikTok, or they want to watch, Twitch and Discord and stuff. Because I don't need to keep paying, these amounts of money that truly do add up at the end of the year, or maybe even after 6 months. It won't add up for me to just scroll on TikTok. Anyway, I've yapped enough. I've ranted enough. I kind of gave myself a little bit of a headache from how angry I got. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Hey, besties. Are you ever curious about the woman behind the podcast mic? Probably not, because I'm an oversharer and you probably know most things about me. But if you want to get to know the real tea on all things Shamira, you should follow me on my personal social media. From day in the life vlogs to cooking videos to music reactions, babe, I do it all. My personal socials are where I take time to romanticize my everyday, ordinary girl life. So if you're into good vibes, laughs, and a touch of authenticity, come join the party. You can find me on TikTok at shookmira, Twitter at Shamira James, that's 2 S's on the end, and Instagram at shamira.poppy, that's P-A-P-I-I. I'll see you there, babes. Bye! End of the first segment, start of the second segment. You know what that means. For those who have been here for a while, you already know what that means. We're getting into... Oh, this is going to be fun. Okay, here we go. Dream. Nope, it wasn't going. It wasn't going the way I thought. I wanted it to do I wanted to go up, but I was only staying at one note. And I don't actually think my voice is I don't think my vocal cords are agile enough to do that. So we're going to keep it simple. Drinks of the week. That was cute. It was cute. Could have been better. That was cute though. It doesn't even matter though, because I actually don't have really a drink of the week. I only have my water with me today because I just ate dinner like right before I started filming, and I had my drink then. I drank a ginger ale Olipop, which I've said it before and I'll say it again. Olipop, girly, if you're watching, and I know you are, first of all, hello, how are you? Second of all, you did your thing. You did your thug thizzle when you created that ginger ale flavor. At first, I only used to like the lemon lime one, but because I already love ginger ale in general, I love it as a concept, as a belief system. I love ginger ale, and so when I tried that Olipop ginger ale, changed my life. If I had to choose like a top 5 flavors, I would say ginger ale will be my number 1. Lemon lime would be my number 2. For number 3, I think I might go fruit punch. I think the fruit punch flavor grew on me a little bit because at first I was not rocking with her. I'm gonna be honest. At first, I really did like the strawberry vanilla one, but I feel like as time has gone on, she's definitely fallen out of flavor with me. I don't even know if I have a top 5. I'd have to look at all the flavors to actually determine. Hold on. Okay, yeah, let's look at all the flavors to see what they are. Okay, vintage cola, I believe I've tried, and it kind of tastes like a watered down Coke in my opinion. Classic root beer, I don't think I've tried that. Ooh, the cream soda one. That's a good one. Actually, so right now, we might go ginger ale, lemon lime, cream soda, fruit punch. So I just need one more. The banana, so the ginger lemon one wasn't bad. I'd have to try some of these. I think the only ones I haven't tried. Oh, the crisp apple one. Now, she wasn't too bad. She was cute. I don't know if she would crack my top 5, though. I have to try all of them. Maybe that's what, if you decide to give me some money on Cash App, that's where your money will go. We're going to get all the flavors and we're going to do a live taste test here. But I don't have another drink. I do, however, have a cream saver. And this is not just any cream saver, you guys. Even actually, I don't know if they make any other flavor, but this is a strawberry and cream saver. When I tell you, speaking of becoming old, I want to be the kind of old person that carries these candies around in her purse, in my fanny pack, in my little bag, or whatever the case may be. I want to have these on me at all times. These candies are so good. I didn't just pick these up from like the gas station or the Dollar Tree. Bitch, I ordered these from Amazon. That's how pressed I was. They're just so good. So, unfortunately, no drinks of the week for me. But for you at home, listening and or watching, if you have a drink of the week, if you are sipping on something right now as you're currently hearing me say this part of the show, please let me know what you're sipping on, because I'm nosy and I want to know. You can leave it in the comment section on YouTube. I'll read it and reply, I promise. Or there's like even a little comment section on Spotify that you can take advantage of. Use that. You guys, that was Drinks of the Week. All right. We talked about Jerrod Carmichael maybe 2 episodes ago. When he sat down someone who he had a crush on, Tyler the Creator, and he, I guess, like, reconfronted him on why he rejected him. Since then, I've learned so many other things about Jerrod Carmichael that I don't want to know. He is someone who is, like, I feel like it's interesting because as someone who, like, likes pop culture, I feel like, honestly, I only want to hear about the things that, like, I actually enjoy. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm phrasing that weirdly. There are just certain people who are not, like, I didn't know who he was before, so anything that had happened with him, I didn't really pay any attention to. And now I feel like I keep seeing things about him for all the wrong reasons. If I saw something about Jerrod Carmichael because he was hosting an award show and he did a great job, or if he donated money, I'd be like, oh, this is like good pop culture things I want to know about. But I keep seeing things from his show, and he keeps saying things on TV that, like, are just kind of like, why is no one telling you to shut up? So, I guess, I don't know if this is in his reality show or whatever case may be. I think it is. There's a clip from his stand-up where basically he compares his relationship to his boyfriend. His boyfriend's white. He compares their relationship to that of a slave master and a slave who is teaching the slave how to read, because Jerrod says that his white boyfriend reads more than him and it makes him like want to read more or something. I don't know. It is the most asinine thing ever. I can't imagine why in 2024 or even years before you would fix your lips to say that this is what your relationship reminds you of. He's just an oddball, man. He's just an oddball. Like, I feel like at first, when the whole Tyler, the Creator situation happened, I felt bad for him because I feel like on the surface, what I saw is someone who wanted to know why someone that they like deemed them as not being good enough in that situation. I did also condemn him for that. Condemn is a strong word, but like I was able to see both sides of it. But ultimately, I felt bad for him. I pitied him. And now, shut up. Like, just stop talking. I also want to know, was he dating, like, this boyfriend that he has, right? Has he been seeing that person this whole time? Because that adds on a whole other layer to him confronting Tyler, the Creator, and being like, I liked you. Why didn't you like me back? Well, you have a whole ass boyfriend. Like, I think that's hella weird. But yeah, so he has this joke in his stand-up where he says that. And I guess he goes on Breakfast Club of all places to like, not defend it, but like in a way defend it. And he says that people were misinterpreting it and there's like more context to it. But the idea that there can even be more context to that quote unquote joke is, sorry, it was time to munch. Literally delicious. What did Dora say? Num 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 num, delicioso. But I didn't even want to talk about that thing about Jerrod Carmichael. I actually want to talk about something else he did. Again, pertaining to his reality TV show. I will insert the clip here because it's kind of long. I would suggest, if you can, watching it in 2x speed. But I'm going to go ahead and insert the clip and then we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, because you would never. So don't criticize how I come if you weren't going to say anything. You weren't going to do shit. I actually am doing something. Your option is no option. So don't criticize the way I do it. If the cameras help me, then they fucking help. But your way is nothing. Your way is silence. Your way is death. I'm not doing that. I'm being a man. I'm stepping up. I'm actually saying the things. These are your children and your grandchildren. These aren't my kids. I didn't fuck nobody. I ain't have no kids outside of my marriage. I didn't do that.
I feel so bad for his father.
And it's hard. It's really, really hard. I had to think
is insane.
Don't come at me with that shit. And yes, I bring in cameras, and yes, that's my way. And yes, I'm afraid to have these conversations without them.
I don't know who this man's therapist is,
you have
but he needs another one.
Things, and so however I do it, I'm doing it. But you weren't going to do it.
This is ridiculous. He could have had this conversation with his father elsewhere.
I knew it.
You set him out for us, son. You can express yourself. You say what you want to say. You're gonna do what you want to do.
This is so sad.
Can I go home?
This is so sad. Look at that man's face.
I think aside from the woman's commentary, because I do sometimes think that when people upload something like that onto social media and they provide their commentary, or even if they're just like in the front kind of giving like a disapproving look, it could sometimes persuade how we view the clip. But why and again, I'm saying this from a lens of like maybe not knowing why he created the show. If his whole point in creating this reality TV show was to confront people that had done him wrong, which reminds me so much, this is very much, if you know, this is peak brain rot. But if you remember when Gabby Hanna, of all people, when she decided to come out with like a 20-part YouTube series where she would talk about all of her different beefs she had with people, and she would talk about like the people that have wronged her, which is a crazy thing to do. Like to do that takes a level of like, it takes a certain lack of self-awareness to think that you have the right to confront people who you perceive them as hurting you, and to not have any objectivity or subjectivity. I sometimes don't know which one to use, but to not have any moment to be like, oh shit, but maybe because it is the truth always that we are the villain in someone's story. Even if it's just one person, we're the villain in at least one person's story. But I promise you, it's not just one person. And even if I could tell you a story right now about how someone pushed me down the steps, and on paper it would seem like they're the villain, but in their mind they could say that bitch was standing in the way, and so I'm the villain in their story. But if the whole point of his show is to confront people that he has problems with, then he's doing it. But if the point is just to like document your life, and now so far in 2 episodes you've put people in front of cameras, which I'm sure that they knew there were going to be cameras there. It's not like this is a hidden camera situation, but I'm so sure, like, to have these very candid and genuine moments, Jerrod is not, he's not probably telling them the extent of what they're going to talk about. I think it's weird. I think it's just very strange. As someone who has an absent father in their life, I do not speak to my father at all. Hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who that man is. I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who that man is. I'm joking. It's a Keke Palmer reference. But as someone who has an absent father, right? There's a part of me, a very small part of me, that wants to be like, I get it. You're frustrated. You're angry. All these things. And in this particular situation, from what I've looked at, from what I've researched on, it seems like Jerrod Carmichael's dad cheated on his mom, and I guess maybe even had a family. Had another family. I'm not someone to tell someone how they should react. That's not really my bag. I don't have that place. That's not my place to do it. Seeing his dad's face in that clip, the optics of Jerrod, like, not yelling at him. He's not yelling, but forcefully talking to him, very like, this very like pointed language, highlighting all the things that he did wrong, and his dad just staring off into the distance, frozen with fear, it seemed like. And then him just, in the end, I couldn't tell if he was crying or not, but can I leave now? Can I go home? Like, something about it just gave ambush. Like, and I don't understand the point of it. I feel like I want to know how old he is. Not that I think that there is an age limit on when you can express hurt. Like, if someone hurt you, they hurt you. And if you never got a chance to deal with it, that hurt can last for a while. How old is he? Let's see. 37. He is 10 years my senior. I can't speak on how I think he should have expressed his hurt, and that I will at least give him that it did look like it felt therapeutic for him to get all that out. But I still feel like time and place is a huge factor. And I saw like some commentary online saying like, how come we're shaming him for expressing his emotions when we would turn on, the TV every other week to watch the Kardashians yell at each other. And I feel like the difference with that is, because obviously the trope of like, emotional black man comes into play, and the angry black man stereotype comes into play. All that stuff comes into play, and I can totally respect that. I think the difference between what we're seeing here versus what we saw with the Kardashians is that the Kardashians felt like they were all in on the joke, I guess. Like, even if I'm thinking about like when Kourtney and Kim fought, right? Even if like that was a genuine like bubble to the tip, like burst of emotions to come up, everyone in that room was consenting to being on camera and having their lives filmed. I'm not saying that Tyler, the Creator, didn't consent to being filmed for Jerrod's show. I'm not saying that Jerrod's father didn't consent to being filmed for Jerrod's show. But to be filmed in that context, knowing that you are walking into something as the bad guy, knowing that you were going to walk into something and have someone groveling in front of you, knowing you're going to walk into something and have someone basically tell you, you can't tell me shit because you did X, Y, and Z and I'm better than you and I'm the one making all the money. You can't ever be prepared for that. I don't envision a conversation in a world in which he sat down his father and said, hey, just so you know, for our segment, I'm going to shit on you. I'm going to publicly shit on you in front of everyone to talk about how much I hate you or hated you. But I wasn't there, so I can't say. What I can say is that it just gave awkward. And there's a part of me, everyone has a right to heal. Everyone has a right to heal how they want to heal. But to do it so publicly, and there's a part of me that's like, and I've had this thought for a while now, especially like when people bring certain issues to TikTok. Sorry, I'm gonna reapply some lip gloss right now. My lips feel dry, but I don't want to take away from this very serious moment that we're having. But I see it all the time on TikTok where people will like bring their like certain interpersonal issues to the internet, and it's not even like big content creator exposing this other content creator for being a bad person. It's like this person from the middle of nowhere is like, I'm going to confront my friend for texting my boyfriend or whatever. And obviously because people live for the drama, they're going to feed into it. But there's a part of me that's like, why are you involving the entire internet on this? Because then when we comment on it and then something changes, all of a sudden now it's like, oh, this was none of you all's business. And this was, you weren't supposed to, perceive it this way. I fear that Jerrod Carmichael is opening up the doors for us to critique these people in his life and not the police helicopters out. As Celine Dion would say, a tale as old as time. Anytime that happens, when a celebrity almost lets us get too much of a peek into their life, we find out too much, and then the court of public opinion takes over. And now it doesn't matter what you intended to show with this clip. It doesn't matter what the narrative is you intended to push. We are going to take what we see and we are going to create that narrative ourselves. I feel like maybe Jerrod set out to do one thing, and I won't say it's doing a complete 180 of what he wanted to do, but it's not the serve he thinks it is. Point blank period. It's not the serve you thought it was, girly. So, I don't know, y'all. That's that. But unfortunately, it's like a dumpster fire. Like, I don't want to keep listening to what he has to say, but I'm also kind of like, damn, well, who else are you going to, like, almost unrightfully expose in your life? But anyway, I didn't mean to talk about that for that long. But, you guys, I want to talk about a topic that, to, again, quote Celine Dion herself, a tale as old as time. To say the least. I can get this. For the little... Wait, I just have to go down an octave, I think. Both the little skit. Nope, I'm just going to try and do the last one. Beauty and the Beast. That was so... I even tried to sneak in a little run to save it. That run ran. It did not eat. I'm going to try it again, though. Beauty and the Beast. That was better. I'm just not having, like, any vocal agility right now. Come on now, singing terms. I didn't do enough warm-ups. The vocal cords are real tight. But anyway, let's talk about separating the art from the artist. This is a conversation that an entire podcast episode could be dedicated to. I don't know how long I'm going to talk about this. I meant for this to be my entire second episode, but the Jerrod Carmichael thing, I guess I just had more to say on it than I thought. Do I think, first of all, that it's possible? To quote Ariana Grande, yes, and. I do think it's possible to separate the art from the artist. But the and, it should be actually yes, but. It depends on the crimes of the person, honestly. So for example, I'll use Doja Cat as an example, right? Doja Cat is kind of a weirdo, I'll be honest. And I loved her. Like, her Hot Pink era and her Planet Her era was, she definitely had, like, it girl energy. Like, you couldn't go on TikTok without hearing one of her songs. You couldn't, like, turn on the radio without hearing one of her songs. She was definitely all over the place. And then out of nowhere, she just kind of, like, flipped a switch and she started shitting on her own music, shitting on her fans, and saying, oh, I'm just going to be so different from her. I'm going to be so edgy and so different. And then the music that she came out with, after she had this big thing of like, oh, I just want to be so edgy and different, sounded the exact same as the music she put out before. If you play Agora Hills right now, tell me that doesn't sound like something that could have been on her album Planet Her. The albums that she shit on and said were bad music. But anyway. And then she also was in like the racist chat rooms showing feet pics or whatever. God bless her. Is that problematic? Yes. That part is problematic. But overall, she's just kind of like more annoying than anything. Like, she just never like, it's just, she really pisses me off. And she pisses me off because I did like her. And she just started showing her ass, like, and I'm showing her ass in terms of like, just, what are you on about? Like, what are you yapping about? Shut up. But anyway, she is someone who I can separate the artist from the art. Because what she did she didn't commit a crime to anyone. She's just annoying. Like, very annoying and just kind of a bitch. And you know what? If she hears this, she would absolutely get on my ass. Because, you know, her whole thing is like, you know, all these fans, they say they love me and you don't even know me and stuff. It's just weird. It's annoying. But anyway, she is someone who I can do that for because what she has done, what I perceive is something that, like, what I perceive as behaviors that I just don't want to directly support, are still not actual crimes, or I don't deem them as bad enough for me to actually be irritated with her as a whole. Right? But there are some artists who I do think it makes it harder for us to do that. Case in point, R. Kelly. You know, before I knew everything about him, what's the name of that song? Oh my God, what is it? Bump and Grind? Vocally, I do love that song. I think it's a great song. I need someone talented to cover that so I can listen to it. Because vocally it's very strong. But knowing what he has done and knowing the lyrics in that song, he's not someone I can listen to. Knowing everything that he's done, I can't get behind that anymore, right? That's when you can't really separate the artist from the art. People will say, oh, you know, he still bumps, you know, we step in the name of love, all this stuff. If you can't find a new song to play at the cookout, baby, you're not looking hard enough. Go ahead and play some Frankie Beverly then. Oh, But so he's someone who, his music, it kind of, I don't want to say directly because, you know, I'll say allegedly. His music allegedly is about the exact things that he has been arrested for. The things that he is currently sitting in jail for are the things that his music is about. When it comes to someone like Chris Brown, well, watch out. I said the name. So the reason I'm bringing up this topic is because Jilly from Philly, decided to get on Twitter and she tweeted, actually, let me just pull up the exact tweet because I want to make sure I'm not paraphrasing, I'm not missing anything. Oh, did she delete it? Oh, well, deleting it will always show me your cards. Okay, here we go. So let me preface this by saying that currently Chris Brown and Quavo from the Migos are beefing. I believe Chris Brown sent shots first via the music, and he called out Quavo for a bunch of different things. He called out Quavo for being abusive to Sweetie, which we all saw the clip. There was a physical altercation in an elevator. Quavo put his hands on Sweetie, right? And so in addition to a number of other things, that's something that Chris Brown mentions. If that is not the pot calling the kettle the blackest of black, I don't know what is, but okay, move past it. Chris Brown puts out or I guess Quavo said something back, now it doesn't matter. But Jill Scott tweeted, "At Chris Brown is amazing. How does anybody sing like that dance, look, act, and rap like that. Beyond gifted. It appears exceptional people have to go through exceptional, I don't know, she put a fire emoji. That could mean like shit or hell. There's nothing to debate. Let me just keep reading, actually. So one of the many replies she got, because a lot of people were like, what? Like, what's going on here? One of the replies says, I think the women he's abused would disagree. Jill Scott replies, and everyone, hold on to something really quick, because when I read this out loud, you're going to be like, wait, what? Like, I don't understand. Just follow me. So the woman says, I think the women he's abused would disagree. Jill Scott says, I doubt it. My mother's ex-husband was a mean and violent human, and he could lay better foundation than anyone in the city. What he did with cement was awe-inspiring. We got away. He got a raise and praised for his ability. God dealt with the rest. Where do I start? One of the things I see the most about Jill Scott's tweets in relation to Chris Brown is people are saying like, oh, so y'all are saying that she lied. Y'all are saying that Chris Brown isn't talented. I don't think anyone has ever said Chris Brown isn't talented. No one has ever said that. I'm going to say it because I'm a hater. And one thing I don't like when it comes to Chris Brown, in addition to everything that he's done, is that people say he's the greatest, like he's like the prince of pop, or people say he's like the new king of R&B. I don't agree with that at all. I also think that he's just not that good of a performer. People are creaming their jeans over the fact that he can do a backflip on beat. I'm sorry. I've seen many other better performers than him. Not to be biased, because if you know, I'm a big fan of this person. If you could give me one of Chris Brown's best performances, and I could give you a Bruno Mars performance that would eat that up 10 times over. But that's besides the point. No one has ever said Chris Brown is not talented. Sure, he can sing. He has songs that are good. That's not the point. We need to look at the context of why Jill Scott posted this. Jill Scott posted this because Chris Brown is currently being talked about for everything he has done against women. And whenever people who defend Chris Brown, whenever you bring up anything about what he has done to many women in his life, women that have restraining orders against him, the first thing people say is like, oh, well, he's talented. But that's not what the conversation is about. The conversation is about the things that he has done, the actions that he has done. We can talk about vocal ability and dancing performance in another time, in another life. I want to talk about the things that he has done to women. The physical crimes that he has done against women. The things that he has said about dark-skinned women and fat women. How about that? But it always comes back to the talent. You can never just whenever you try to critique someone, people will always bring up the entirety of who they are. I'm going to talk about a specific part of what he is. So that's one thing. Yeah, so the main thing people are saying is like, oh, she didn't lie. He is talented. We need to look at the context of why she brought it up. She didn't just randomly decide to give him praises. She brought it up because people are talking about how, we keep having this conversation every few months, it seems like, reminding people that Chris Brown is an awful person. And whenever you bring it up, someone wants to be like, oh, but he's so talented. That's not what we're talking about. Case in point, let's say you were standing outside, right? And you're shivering. You are just, to you, it feels like 30 degrees outside and you're wearing a t-shirt and jean shorts. Like you are freezing. And I come outside and I stand next to you and I say, it's kind of hot out. I'm kind of sweaty. I didn't directly say anything to you about what's going on, but by context, I am directly speaking to the fact that you're cold. Because you're saying that you're cold, even though I'm not asking you, oh, I don't understand why you're cold, you can tell by my comments that I'm speaking from a place of letting you know I don't agree with you. But even though it's not completely related. You see what I'm saying? I feel like that was a weird example, but you see what I'm saying? Jill Scott did not have to type out a complete sentence of, people keep bringing up Chris Brown's abusive ways, but I would like to highlight that he's talented. She didn't need to put that first part on because that first part is understood. And I feel like people are being like purposely not dense, because I don't think it's something that like is that easily understood. But people are acting like she just tweeted that because. She didn't just tweet it because. She tweeted it because, again, we're having to bring up the conversation. We're having to remind people, hey, lest we not forget the things that he has done. So that's my first thing. There's another tweet I saw. related to this. Let me make sure I can find it. Twitter user Tatiana Janae says, sending love to Karrueche, whose public abusive relationship will be reduced to jokes, memes, gotcha moments, and whatever the hell that Jill Scott tweet was. I've already been seeing jokes and memes about it, and I feel like I said it a few episodes, maybe not a few episodes ago, but I do remember saying it, how I sometimes appreciate the internet's way of like making light of things because it allows us to digest certain bits of information that are harmful. Case in point, when we were so sure that World War III was going to happen before, I cannot comment on anything right now, but you know, all of the World War III memes, all the World War III jokes made it like, you know, it definitely helped calm down the anxiety of it. That's something you can kind of joke about. I think that the internet lacks tact when it comes to talking about situations like abuse, because I feel like people, I don't know, I just feel like people don't talk about it with enough grace that needs to be talked to, like that it needs to be talked about it with. And I can't think of any specific examples, but like I remember the first time I had this thought. There's this really popular TikTok person. Her name is Kane. She has a very abusive relationship that is very public. She is absolutely not someone who holds back at all with her personal life on TikTok. And she is praised for being so open and honest about what is going on with her. But in the same vein, to me, it is just kind of weird that, you know, every few weeks or so, we see her and her baby daddy like actively fighting on TikTok Live or on Facebook Live. And it's like, it's so weird that we can watch this and consume this so regularly. And I think that was one of the first moments I had of like, there's no tact when it comes to this kind of stuff. But tact has been thrown out the window with social media in general. But anyway, another thing that people bring up about Chris Brown that always irks my soul. Oh, well, Rihanna forgave him, so why can't you get over it? I'm going to give y'all a very extreme example. And I want to know what you think about this. Let me pull it up first. All right, I'm going to read y'all this headline, okay? New Indianapolis mother walks free after admitting to smothering her 2-month-old baby to death between 2 couch cushions while high on meth. Judge Mark Stoner found, I don't know how to say her name, but we'll just say Jane Doe, not guilty of neglect resulting in death. Lacey confessed that she just wanted her daughter to stop crying and just to be quiet so she could get some sleep. The mother, who was high on meth, smothered her daughter in couch cushions. Judge Stoner said that the prosecutors didn't do enough to prove she intentionally harmed her baby. Lacey was facing 20 to 40 years in prison. She now walks free. In that situation, not so much that the judge forgave her, but the judge said she did nothing wrong in the eyes of the law, so she gets to walk free. What do you think about that? Do you think that, oh, well, if the judge said she didn't do anything wrong, or if the judge said there's no way we can actually find her guilty of this, I guess we just all have to get over it? I hope that silence was loud for you. And I almost feel like a hypocrite for talking about this because I just said we don't have the tact to talk about certain issues like this online. But I want to say this right now. I don't give a damn who forgave him. I'm going to be very honest. Obviously, Rihanna is a victim of his abuse. And how she feels about him, that's fine. But do you think that just because she forgave him, does that mean that every woman who has ever been in any type of DV situation should not feel triggered by what happened? Any woman who in general feels sensitive about that kind of stuff shouldn't feel triggered because this one woman doesn't feel some type of way. Mind you, his other girlfriend, Karrueche, who we've seen pictures of him putting his hands on her in public. We saw pictures and videos of him following her out of a club and trying to force his way into a truck that she was in. We know that she has a restraining order on him. Oh, but this one woman said that she forgave him, so we really just have to get over it. That's not how the game is played. I'm so sorry that people think that. Something else that really pisses me off is that people Or like, oh, well, he's a kid, he should have been forgiven. No, that doesn't, again, that's not how the game is played. I wrote a paper in college. I think it was my junior year, or I did a project it was a communication class, and we were like analyzing different speeches. I analyzed an apology video from Jeffree Star, and I, ripped it apart and showed ways that he like really wasn't apologetic for what he had done. You can only forgive someone so long as their behavior is that of someone who is looking to be forgiven. That didn't make any sense, but I felt so deep saying it. With Jeffree Star has put out several apologies for what he's done. Or maybe just one, actually. And then he continued to double down and do the things that he apologized for, that he swore he changed from. Shane Dawson's done the same thing. Shane Dawson has put out a lot of apology videos. Do you think that Shane Dawson is still doing the same shit? Maybe not now, because he's actually, I don't know what he's up to now, but he's apologized for so many things in his career, and he still continues to do these problematic things. Why on earth would we forgive someone who continuously does the same things over and over again? Is that not psychotic? The conversations around Chris Brown bother me so, and something I really hate, something else that I actually saw a lot of, like a lot of the commentary I saw were people being like, oh, well, y'all have done worse things, and you all can admit that you have changed. People, especially when it comes to Chris Brown, people talk about the idea of how he's changed, how he's grown up from it. I don't know if I've missed it. I've never seen Chris Brown talk about any type of like DV outreach. Let me actually look it up. Hold on. This is just to my knowledge, and I could be wrong. I'm not trying to say this is absolute fact, but I don't know if Chris Brown has ever done any type of DV outreach. Has he spoken to young kids at risk about these are the mistakes that I've made and I've owned up to it, and I'm looking to be forgiven for these things, and I'm doing these actions to prove that I'm a changed person? Because if he hasn't done this, then this idea of has he changed or not is kind of irrelevant. And, people will say he doesn't have to do all that. Like, you can tell by his behaviors that he's changed. But can we? Can we? Because Rihanna happened, and then Karrueche happened. So where's the change? And now, we're years on. We're years later from him being with Karrueche, and I don't know if we've heard of anything of him being, again, this monster towards women. But just because we haven't heard it, that doesn't mean it's not happening. And I know people are going to say, you can't, like, that's a reach. You can't say that. I'm going on track records. I'm going on what I've seen. I'm looking at the statistics. I'm looking at the material. In all of this, I feel bad for Karrueche, who did not forgive him for what he did to her. And yet she's getting made fun of. She's still being treated like this bad person. Oh, she unblocked him on Instagram, so she's clearly moved on. What are y'all talking about? And it's moments like this. This is what I mean by when we lack tact. Because people look at a small thing like that, unblocking someone on Instagram, allegedly, and now all of a sudden it's, oh, well, it couldn't have been that creep. What? Going back to what Jill Scott said, I tried to read her tweet with some, like, objectivity. I'm really trying to understand what she's saying. It seems like she's saying that we can appreciate what men do, what bad men do, and still believe that they will get their karma for whatever else, I think is what she's saying. But it doesn't get, like, I don't, it's really this story about, like, and the idea that this person said, I think the women that he's abused would disagree. And she starts her tweet off with, I doubt it. How dare you speak for these women that you don't know anything about? My mother's ex-husband was a mean, violent man. He could lay foundation better than anyone in the city. What he did with cement was awe-inspiring. First of all, unless he was building statues, I can't imagine that laying cement is awe-inspiring. It's crucial, no doubt, but awe-inspiring is a reach, Jilly. We got away, he got a raise and praised for his ability, and God dealt with the rest. What does that even mean? I don't know. I just don't know anymore. I just wish that we'd hold people accountable without the narrative being pushed that women can't let anything go, and women are incapable of evaluating their own actions. They always want to judge a man for things. These are things that I've heard from videos that I've watched today about the situation. And I'm just like, what is there to do, girl? In summation, I want to wrap this up. In summation, we can separate the artist from the art, but they have to be worth it. Or the crimes have to not overshadow what they've done. Doja Cat saying that she hates her fans is not going to stop me from listening to Cybersex or what's another song? Juicy, right? But Chris Brown hitting women and constantly doubling down on it, yeah, that's going to stop the tracks for this train. Absolutely it is. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Alrighty, you guys, we are back. Now, I'm not going to lie. I don't have anything planned out for the third segment, or at least I didn't. And I needed something quick because I have to pack for we'll call it a work trip, but it's not really a work trip. I just have to stay somewhere for work. And I still have to wash dishes for tonight. And it's already 10:53 and I have to commute into work tomorrow. I really set myself up by filming the podcast this late, but I need to hang out with my best friends. So I thought we'd play some Would You Rather. I love Would You Rather. I think it's really fun, a good way to get to know people. And you want to get to know me, I want to get to know you. So I'm going to put these questions, I'm going to say these questions, and I want you to type your answer. If you just heard my knee pop, don't talk about it. I'm going to ask these questions, and we're going to talk about them in the comment section on YouTube. So go ahead and listen to the podcast on YouTube. I want to do some Would You Rather questions, but I don't want to do boring ones. Ooh, here we go. This is from Teen Vogue. Would you rather questions that reveal a lot about you? I'm not going to do all of them, but let's see. Would you rather uncontrollably break into song or unexpectedly lose your voice? This podcast is chock full of me unexpectedly breaking into song. So I'm going to choose that. I guess the only caveat would be, if it happens, at a bad time. I can't imagine, being at a funeral and, all of a sudden, singing, "We're breaking free, we're soaring, flying." That sounded way better, you guys. Okay. Would you rather have a 1-minute conversation with your past self or your future self? There's nothing I can say. That's rough. Because there's a part of me that's I want to talk to my past self and be chill out, everything, things will work out. Things seem like the end of the world for you, but things work out. But I'm also kind of what does she need to know that for, I want to talk to this girl I'm about to become. I want to know more about her. But I'm always afraid to, I don't know. I'm always afraid to know things about the future. I guess it's really about, I feel like this question is really about, do you want to heal your inner child, or do you want to, have something to hold on to for the future? That's tough. I might choose 1-minute conversation with my future self, honestly. I think I might choose that. Would you rather be constantly sticky or constantly itchy? Literally neither. Oh, God. I can feel it on my skin. There is nothing worse than, having sticky hands. Or even just, do you ever... I don't know if y'all feel this way, but especially, when I'm on my way home from work, just with all the public transportation I take, even if my hands aren't sticky, there's a difference. I don't know if this is, the ADHD talking sometimes, but sometimes when I'm at work, or even if I'm, working from home, I can't focus if my hands feel dirty. They might not even be sticky, but just sometimes if you get, a good hand wash in, how it, it just, dries out your hands. It, gives you a chance to, factory reset your hands almost. Yeah, no, I'm going to have to choose always be itchy, only because, the idea of actually, being sticky all the time grosses me out. Oh, I can't. Would you rather have a photographic memory or a perfect pitch? I actually think my pitch is actually just fine, but If I had a photographic memory, I probably would have done way better in school. But like, I mean, I feel just fine with where I've gotten academically. I'd say perfect pitch. I'd say perfect pitch, yeah. Even though I do think I'm already there. Let's see. Would you rather find out a long-standing conspiracy theory was true or find out a juicy piece of gossip that only you knew? I'm going to go with the gossip because one thing about me, I'm a little messy. And I love to know a little bit of gossip. One thing, I remember, you guys, I was working at this job and this person that started, they were new. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say I was right in the situation. I maybe should have peeled back a little bit. They caught me on a bad day. I was done with everybody at the workplace. I had it. I was ready to rant. And so I was giving this person kind of like the rundown of the vibes of the place, which I think is important. People would call that gossiping, or people would say that like you're trying to like taint how that person feels about the workplace. But we were both two very others of the workplace. I was a young black woman. This was a young trans woman. Like, we were both two very others of the workplace. And so I'm trying to give them an idea of what it's like. Even though still our experiences are very different, I was trying to give them a rundown of the workplace. It did end up me kind of ranting about some of my coworkers. But this coworker, they would also end up having issues with this person as well. So honestly, I was trying to do them a solid. So I remember ranting or whatever, got my whole shit off. Next day I come in, me and this person working on a project together. And this shit pissed me off so bad. They were like, yeah, so yesterday you did a lot of like complaining and gossiping, and I don't know if that's like how you're comfortable talking about people, but I just don't feel comfortable doing that, and I would appreciate if you kept those thoughts to yourself. Now, look, on paper, I know you're saying, like, Shamira, that's a very reasonable response for them to have. My problem is that, girl, fuck you. It's just something about people who feel like, I feel like there is a way to gossip in the workplace that feels very normal. I feel like that is a very normal thing that happens. Gossiping in the workplace is a normal thing that happens. I'm not going to say it too many times. There is a right way and a wrong way to do it. And as someone who does, I won't say gossip, I create a safe space for my coworkers to feel, then, you know, I create a safe space for them to get their thoughts off. There is a right way and a wrong way to do it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that might have been the wrong way to do it, but I don't like the way she came at me. All this, that might be the way you're comfortable doing it. All right, bitch, you got one more turn. Damn, what was the question? Where was it? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to choose a juicy gossip because I'm always going to opt for the gossip. And also, I mean, it says, find out a juicy piece of gossip that only you knew. If I find out something that's juicy, am I really going to be the only person that knows? Let me get around my people. We'll all know in a second. Would you rather wear heels at the beach or sandals at a muddy outdoor music festival? Walking on the beach is already difficult in flip-flops or on your bare feet, especially when you're on like the hot part of the sand that is nowhere near the water. Walking on the beach is arguably the most difficult thing to do ever. I could not imagine doing that in a pair of heels. I don't feel like I wear heels a lot. So even sometimes now, I'm 27, I've been wearing heels like for a while now, and I'm still not super confident on how to walk in them. I have to consciously remind myself, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. There's no way I'd be able to walk in heels on a beach. I would rather separate the beach grain by grain of sand before I think about putting heels onto the beach. A muddy music festival in sandals, it might not be the most ideal, and actually, ew, I'm like thinking about like all the bacteria and dirt, but honestly, it'll be fine. You give yourself a little rinse off, you'll be fine. The absolute torture it would be to go from like boardwalk to dry hot part of the beach, the dry hot sand part, up into you, and then you get to the soggy part of the sand, and then you're sinking in. It's not gonna work. Yeah, it's not gonna work. I'm gonna do mud at the music festival with flip flops. That's gonna be how it's have to be. That's gonna be what it's gonna be. Would you rather be known for always being honest or always being kind? I'm gonna choose always being kind because unfortunately I'm a people pleaser and I want people to like me. I don't necessarily think that being kind and honest are mutually exclusive things, but I feel like, I guess in this context they are, and I would much rather want to be liked by many people than to be like, oh, she doesn't have a filter. She doesn't know how to sugarcoat things for people. Would you rather be locked in a room with your ex or go on a date with someone whose political beliefs are the total opposite of yours? Girl. Is there a stronger word than absolutely fucking neither of those options? I feel like I possibly have gone on dates with people who have different political views than me. It just probably never came up. I'm going to choose a political belief once because there's a chance it might not come up. And if it does, you know what? I would just bring myself to the date via an Uber and I would just leave on my own accord. Yeah, you cannot lock me in a room with that man. Absolutely not. Thank you so much, though. Would you rather have a tiny home with a big yard or a garden, or a big house with no outdoor space? Now that I'm living in an apartment on my own, I live in the middle of the city, and I don't have any type of like balcony, patio or anything like that. There's nothing more I crave than having an outside space. I cannot tell you how many people I see on like Be Real or Instagram and stuff or Snapchat, and they're taking pictures of them sitting out on their deck, especially as it starts to get warmer. And I'm jealous. I think I'm gonna go with tiny house with like really big outdoor space. I think that'd be really nice. Because even indoor girlies like me do like the idea of being able to get some fresh air and sit outside and take in at least 10 minutes of fresh air. Ooh, okay, these are deep ones. So we'll do one deep one and then we'll end it. Would you rather have more time or more money? Oh, that's a good question. I feel like I'm going to choose more money. And time is one of those things that scares me because I never do think we have enough time for anything. And I have these thoughts often of like, I'm young, I have all this time, but I'm also 27 and I'm so close to 30. And at this time, my mom already had 2 kids and all these things. But ultimately, what else will time do? But then also as someone who has lost their mother, I do often think about like, damn, if only I had more time. But I also think about money in terms of this, because there's a quote from Chris Rock that I will never forget, where he basically said like, if the average American saw how much better the healthcare system is when you have money, they would be outraged. And like, I feel like as an average person, I can understand that if you have more money, there are certain things that are accessible to you that are not accessible to everybody. But the fact that he said people would be outraged and like start riots, like what does he know? He has money. He has like exposure to these things. If I had money, what things could I have been exposed to change my life and things of that nature? That's a tough question. I think about time. Sometimes I think about like if I had more time, it would just prolong the inevitable. And people say that money can't fix everything, but I think that's a bald-faced lie. I think I'm going to choose money. I think ultimately I'm going to choose money. I won't, eventually I will get to a place where I tell you everything in my life, but it's a if you know situation, but I definitely think that money could have helped my family many and plenty of times, as I'm sure it could have helped anyone's family. But yeah, that's a good one. We'll revisit these would you rather questions because these are fun, but I hope you all enjoyed. It was so much fun hanging out with you. This might be my longest episode to date. Editing this is going to be a doozy. It's going to be a doozy, but it'll be fun. But yeah, thank you all for hanging out. It was a good time, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye.
Realer than real.